It's my show about nothing mini pod, and today I'm gonna nerd out completely and talk about how you would have to train to pull off the crazy ass things you see in comic books. So I'll be talking about Batman issue 110, and specifically when Ghostmaker catches Batman as they're both falling through the air by two hands. If you're just on the fringe of nerdom and you're not all in like I am, and you have no idea who the hell Ghostmaker is, but this video still interests you, here's a really quick background. Ghostmaker is somebody in the Batman comic book world who traveled around the world to learn as many skills and fighting styles from a bunch of different teachers at exactly the same time Bruce Wayne was training to be Batman. And as it so happens, they crossed paths more than once and spent time training together. But Bruce decided that he was the bad kind of psychopath, not the good kind of sociopath like he is. So they parted ways. But alas, fate brought them together again after they had both been doing their things for a while. And again, as these things go, they fought, but then kind of started working together, but not really. You know, one of those complicated type of relationships. But back to the matter at hand, catching large men wearing heavy armor out of midair. Now, to be clear, I don't think there's actually any real world where this would actually be possible. But it sure as hell is a fun thought experiment about how you'd have to prepare to actually do something like this. So I'm gonna break this down into 3 categories and give you examples of how to train each. Those categories are sports vision, which is a very broad term that I'm gonna break down, grip strength and connective tissue strength of the shoulders and arms, and jumping ability. So starting with sports vision. Like I said, this is a broad term that includes more than what I'm going to list off, but this is a good start. This includes hand-eye coordination, dynamic visual acuity, which helps you see objects when they're moving quickly, depth perception, and peripheral awareness. So let's go through the most simple to implement methods that I found for each. For hand-eye coordination, try a simple handball reactive drill. Toss a bouncy ball against a wall, constantly alternating what hand you catch and throw it with. This is great because it can be done almost anywhere. Next up, we have dynamic visual acuity. To catch someone falling from the sky, you have to have the ability to track an object moving fast. To train this, take a ride on a train and try to look at and read the words and the signs outside the window as they speed by. Or if you don't take public transportation or just find that stupid, get an app. A simple search on the App Store and you can find some pretty good ones. Then there's depth perception. You need to have good spatial judgment to know how far away an object or person is from you. A simple way to train this is to grab a straw and get a pebble that can actually fit in that straw, hold it about an arm's length away, and try to drop it into that straw. Last up, there's peripheral awareness, or usually called peripheral vision. Everyone pretty much knows what this is. Having a wide field of vision, being able to see to either side of you without turning your head. An interesting way to train this involves a straw, yet again. So you draw a thick black line on the straw. Prop it up right in front of your field of vision. Then take 2 toothpicks or skinny chopsticks and try to put both in either side of the straw while staring directly at the black line. It definitely isn't easy as it sounds, if it sounds easy at all. Okay, so enough about vision. Next up is grip strength and connective tissue strength. As you could imagine, you need a hell of a lot of grip strength to catch and hold someone free falling off of a building. But you'd also need your shoulder and elbow not to rip off from the force, which is what would most likely happen even with the training I'm going to describe. But dreamers can dream. So the grip strength that we're talking about is the kind of which that would send Sly from cliffhanger into a horrible depression from feelings of inadequacy. But doing plate holds and using hand grippers simply will not do. Because connective tissue needs to be strengthened and made thicker and more resilient. And this is something that even some very strong people do not do. Tendons and ligaments have lower blood supply than muscles. This means they are slower to heal and slower to grow thicker and stronger than muscle. Making the muscle stronger without ever doing specific training for the connective tissue increases the chance of injury to them. There's 3 methods that are pretty easy to incorporate into training that reinforce the tendons and ligaments. These are straight arm strength training, doing high rep simple exercises, basically pump work, and isometric training. Let's talk about straight arm strength training first, because it builds ligament strength in the arm and shoulder while also training grip strength in some cases. What is straight arm strength? It's keeping your arm completely straight and locked while under load for extended periods of time. The load can be your own body weight, like in the case of handstand holds and L-sits, where you'd hold these positions with locked straight elbows for however long you can. You can also use your body weight and do things that help grip as well, like straight arm dead hangs from a bar or even from ropes. These challenge your grip even more. The idea is that you would do multiple sets for a given time, or you would just do 1 or 2 sets to absolute failure. The other more dynamic method to train straight arm strength that involves load is things like heavy farmer's walks, which train that straight arm strength and of course your grip. The second way to build stronger joints and tendons is through pump work. Doing long sets, supersets, lots of reps with light weight, or just using your body weight. This could be single joint bodybuilding type exercises like tricep pushdowns and leg extensions, or it could be push-ups or stationary bodyweight split squats, done quickly and continuously for multiple high rep sets. Doing these high rep continuous sets not only causes blood to rush to the muscles being worked while you're doing it, but it also increases the general supply of blood to that area. That means that the joints and tendons will then have a greater blood flow, which means it's now stronger and more resilient to injury. The third and final way I'm going to cover to improve connective tissue quality and strength is through isometric training. There's a few different ways to do this, but one of the easiest is to push or pull against something that will not move for around 6 seconds. This could be as simple as pushing against a wall for your upper body, or for your lower body, lying on your back, putting your feet on a wall with knees bent, and trying to drive your feet through the wall. Or you could do exercises like iso deadlifts, where you pull the bar statically against the safeties for 6 seconds. All right, let's bring this home. The last piece of this catching a human being in midair puzzle is jump ability. Not only would Ghostmaker have the power to jump far and high, but he'd also need precision and control to propel himself toward the correct intercepting trajectory to catch Batman. To increase jump height and distance, you need to do some heavy weight training. Compound movements like squats, deadlifts, hip thrusts, yes, but definitely also single leg resistance exercises like split squats, step ups, single leg RDLs. But with that, you need to actually practice jumps for maximal height and distance, and not just single linear jumps, but consecutive jumps, lateral jumps, change of direction jumps, single leg jumps, and more. For this, make sure they're being performed with as much effort as possible and resting adequately in between. This is about developing jump power, not using jumps as conditioning. Loaded jumps are also great to mix in. To work on jump precision and control, you can do precision jumps where you pick targets of varying distances and heights, and you try to land perfectly balanced on it. It can be as simple as landing on a line on the ground, or as complex as sticking the landing on a low tree branch or a ledge. Again, this would have to be done forward, backward, laterally, and on one leg. So that's it. It's really that simple. Just train all that and, of course, push yourself to the very limits of human mental and physical ability. Being able to outlift world-class powerlifters, beat Olympic sprinters in a foot race, and then, of course, also master every martial arts known to man, have a 230 IQ, and make the parkour bad guy James Bond was chasing after in Casino Royale look like a chump. And learn skills. All the skills. With all that and the power to bend reality and break the laws of physics, you'll be catching giant men wearing costumes out of thin air in no time. So if you feel like you're ready to do that after watching this video, let me know in the comments. Or if you found this video interesting and would like to see more, leave a like or comment down below. And I'll see you next time they shine my light in the sky.